This is about interagency collaboration. So this is leveraging military funding for social benefit. So with this, we're going to invite Dean McCowan to the stage here to
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Dean.
Well, it's a podium with a sloped thing, so you're going to have to see my orange juice, or my apple juice. Hi, everybody, and thanks a lot for having me here at this talk. My name is Dean McCowan. I'm the director of several professional master's programs at Smith School of Business. I know I've seen a shout out for Carleton. I know U of T has a strong presence. How many people are Queen's grads here? All right, good stuff. Good. Now, how many of those people are Smith grads? There we go. All MMA people. This is good. So one of the programs I run is a Master's of Management Analytics. And I'll be honest with you, yesterday I was a little bit worried when I didn't see anybody. And I thought, wow, how can I have 2,000 alumni in Toronto and not seeing anybody here? But today everyone kind of came out of the woodwork. So I appreciate the call-outs there and reaching out. So thanks for that. This is going to be something a little bit different. We have, at Queen's, we have a number of research partnerships. We have a big research center for veteran affairs and mental health and things like that. And I've got a lot of research projects that we are not actually allowed to talk about. But this was an interesting thing. And I thought that when I was talking to Jeremy, who organizes the content for these conferences, we thought we'd do something like completely different. So this is going to be more of a conversation about pie in the sky. Because one thing about public sector, and certainly I know this from being in the post-secondary sector, is that funding is always scarce. Always has been, always will be. And then when you start seeing in the news about, let's say, $150 billion going to the military, I'm sure everybody in this room just went, ugh, like that. Because we have a lot of people here who are now having to tighten their budgets and things. And so what I wanted to do was think about this in a little different lens. And this is not just Canada doing this. This is actually most NATO countries as well. And so they're trying to leverage that 2 to 3% NATO funding, and they're leveraging it against social impact opportunities as well. So that's why I thought that this would be a little bit different. I wanted to think about some sort of pie-in-the-sky ideas of how you and your organization could work or partner with the military to take advantage of some of these dollars that are coming down. Now, I wanted to sort of set the stage here. So it is a significant amount of money that's being talked about, right? That's going to be distributed. What I'm looking for or hoping for is some of these dual-use innovation opportunities. Okay? And now dual use does not mean that your deputy minister gets to use an F-35 whenever they want, right? That's pie in the sky, beyond pie in the sky stuff. But we want to talk about the opportunities for technologies, for data, for analytics and AI that you and your organization could use that perhaps is also funded through the military. And this is a huge challenge, I know, for a lot of organizations, but that's why I wanted to take this opportunity to sort of bring this out. You know, take a pause and think about this for a little bit. So on your table, hopefully, is 5 questions. I'm not sure I'll get to all of them or not, but we're going to try. And so what we're looking for is to think about things like public-private partnerships. We do want you to think about ethical issues and concerns, and also scalability. Okay, so that's going to be an important part because we actually want to make a difference for literally the people of Canada. And so this is where it becomes a bridge between the military and society as well. Okay, and we've seen a lot of talks, about graphical information systems and things like that, which I think sort of set a pretty good sort of precedent for what we're talking about here. So when you go down, okay, just these are the basic categories. Public and private partnerships, commercializing military innovation, and advanced technology applications. And I think in most of our organizations, we can all think about this and think about how this can work. And when you're drilling it down into areas of societal impact, right, we've already seen quite a bit of work, as I mentioned, about our Veterans Affairs and mental health research at Queen's. We're talking about healthcare innovations. Okay, the military is very proactive in that. The military is actually Canada's largest healthcare provider. Okay, so that's kind of something to think about when you're talking about prosthetics, trauma care, telemedicine, medical services, and patient outcomes. Cybersecurity. One thing I'm a little surprised about, I haven't heard a whole lot about cybersecurity here the past couple of days, so maybe that's definitely something that people can sort of bring to the forefront here, because that's what's got me worried at night, for sure. Renewable energy solutions, right? Bringing power to remote areas, right? That's huge, not only for a military application, but also for our northern communities, right? And that kind of thing. Autonomous systems. So Canada is geographically huge, right? How can we, as a nation, monitor all of our geography and space just using people? Or do we need autonomous type vehicles, drones, and that kind of stuff? And ultimately, the bottom line, why I'm here, is education, right? Both STEM education, AI education, analytics education, and how can we create pipelines of knowledge to make sure that this information is shared amongst us and we can leverage this to the best of our abilities as well. Okay, so here's the first question. And hopefully you do have a question. Oh, is there a question there? No, okay. Okay, perfect. So, number one, government partnerships. How can private sector collaboration with government agencies be structured to ensure both innovation and national security priorities are met? And when I talk about government agencies, it can be between government agencies as well. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes to work on that question at your table. And then I'm going to put on my professor hat, and I'm not going to be nice and ask for volunteers. I'm actually going to point out tables. So take this seriously and do not run for the doors. Okay, and go. It's just like class. People are running to the doors, even though I said don't do it. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, let's bring it back. So I was kind of joking. I will ask for a volunteer table at first. Anybody want to volunteer? We've got microphones coming around. Okay, how about this table right up here in the front? Oh, we got one here. Perfect. Nope, you guys are off the hook. There you go.
So we came up with like 3 points primarily. One is a potential revision of how the military procurement process works, because we know it's very RFP heavy and it can sometimes disincentivize the private sector from coming to solve military use cases. So that's one piece. The second piece we were discussing is it can sometimes be hard for the military to reveal certain things about what challenges they are facing. So it's hard for it to be a two-way street. But what could be a potential solution is that the private sector could come up with their use cases on what challenges they're facing, whether it's in transport or energy or communications. And then the military does an evaluation on their end and be like, oh, we have a military technology that can be dual use and that can solve this problem. Or we have like some sort of like other sort of like system that we have that as a potential could also solve this problem. So it can be like a one-way direction, but it still sort of like fosters a very good collaboration. And the third one we were discussing while the partnerships are happening, we know that perceptions of the military itself are like a very sensitive thing, and we always want to be careful about how the military is being perceived. So if there's like cuts in any regulation, like for example environment, it's not done in a way that puts the military in a more uncomfortable situation participating, because they don't want to be perceived as like a polluter or something like that.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Could you, would you? No, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just around that dual-use technology, I think, yeah. But we talked a bit about the dual-use technology and how if, not maybe the most sensitive and advanced technology being used, but some of the older functionality could be shared with organizations that don't have that level of technology. They're very basic. So just to get them up, especially we're in a lot smaller organizations, so getting them up to a level that could be useful to begin working on more advanced technologies.
Yeah, for sure. Good stuff. Thank you. Yeah, because technology itself can be scaled back, right? It doesn't even have to be, as you mentioned, old stuff. It could be new stuff, just without all the secret stuff. All right, next question. Oh, this is getting actually to dual-use technology investment. So this is a little bit different. What are the ethical considerations that should guide the development of dual-use technology that serve both civilian and military purposes? So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to talk about this one, because we're already kind of short on time. So go ahead. Okay, 30 seconds. Okay, time to bring it back. Okay, so we're talking about the dual-use technology, developing technology, but making sure that there's some ethical considerations around that. So you had to know that I was coming to this side, right? So how about this table right here? You seem to be in deep discussion.
Are we online, by the way?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just to be clear, my views are my own, or our views are our own, and don't represent the government of Canada. One of the considerations is often viewed through a lens of what technology safeguards need to be in place for the wrong actors not misusing dual-use technology. But when you look at some of the considerations around, for example, AI and the safeguards that are now reflexively put in place, you might want to consider things like engineering, the ability to remove some of those safeguards for military applications or for defense applications. That's one kind of flipping the script on that a little bit.
Okay, great, thank you. Anybody else? Not so much. Anybody over here? Yeah.
I think we were talking a bit about, where do you draw that line? Because, again, you look at what's happening in the US, you could argue that data is being used to hunt down people, potentially, right? So we've got cameras everywhere now. Those have a positive social benefit. Yesterday there was an Amber Alert. They actually found the child quickly. Where you have crime now where police can get access to video and other information and solve a crime quickly. But at the same time, you can use that for other purposes, right? To hunt people down, target. So it comes down to what's your framework of how far is it allowed to be used, I think, right?
That's the great question. Yeah.
I'm kind of puzzled with the questions a little bit. How we can put ethic and military in one sentence. There's no ethic in war, there's no ethic in military. And the other thing is that everything can be dual use. It doesn't even need to be technology. I can use this glass of water to drink water, or I can throw it at someone. Anything can be used on a dual purpose. So again, I'm puzzled with the concept.
For sure, and this is one of the great debates that's going on in society right now, is trying to figure out an ethical process that we as a nation and a people can agree with, and our ethical standards are substantially different compared to the United States, but it's also substantially different compared to Asia and Europe and everybody, right? And I would also argue that there's probably ethical differences in this room. And so there lies the challenge, and there lies the challenge of government in general, is to actually help define that. What is the ethical process for determining these kind of decision-making for Canadian people? And it's not easy. That's why they get paid the big bucks. Right? Okay, any other thoughts on that? Good to move on. And that was the wrong button. There we go. So what about spin-off ventures? Okay, so I actually picked this picture specifically because I do know that one of the #1 causes of forest fires in Canada is power line sparks, okay? And so I worked with an organization that was developing drones that could actually fly along power lines to determine, using visual recognition and AI, if there was 2 trees close to it, or if the ground was like prime for fire. So that's why I picked that video. So this is a good example of a spin-off venture. And so what are the key challenges in transitioning military innovations into successful consumer-facing spin-off ventures, and how can those challenges be overcome? A little bit deeper of a question. Okay, I'll give you 3 minutes on that one. Okay, I think we should bring it back. I'm getting close to the end of time. Does anybody want to volunteer, have any ideas around that? The spin-off ventures. Yes?
Yes, so we took it from the perspective that it goes through many phases where if the military's created something and the spin-off ventures, then you can commercialize it, and so the price of it comes down because you're mass producing it. The idea of the product for the military is probably at a much higher level of construction, so the materials. So as you commercialize it, the price of it can come down because you don't have to have as more extensive use of materials, and you can use cheaper materials, so it becomes mass available. What was the other one? There was customization. Oh yeah, the customization, that then you can the options you have to customize it. So the military use may have had very specific uses and covered a whole broad range, but you can then, as a consumer, you can choose different aspects to it, so you may not need all of the risks of the different pieces of that piece that come together.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody else have an idea? Yeah.
We were thinking about that particular challenge, and we thought the challenge in that would be, what if they reverse engineer a product that is for commercial use, and it's being reverse engineered and used against them? How would you handle that? So I think that would be a challenge to tackle.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also another part of the spin-off venture piece, it doesn't actually have to be using a military product in civilian life. Like when you think about the procurement for F-35 and the new submarine sort of procurement that's going on right now, the idea is to build up domestic Canadian industry as well. So like subs are going to be assembled here, a lot of the electronic components, the F-35 are built in Canada, and so there's a lot of different ways of looking at that as well. And so anyway, it's an interesting time. Anyway, I am way over time, so I'm going to jump ahead. And so anyway, I think we've had a quick conversation about, some of the scalable innovations that need to be considered, that we can actually build these things out. We definitely have to come up with that framework of the ethical use of funds. We need to develop workforce skills. I think that's actually been a theme throughout the weekend as well, and certainly Queens and my programs are here to help that. So if you want to talk about that, I'm open to it. And we have to monitor impact, right? And that's what data is all about. Do the analytics, find out if we're seeing the impact that we expect to see, and away we go. Anyway, this is my, this QR code gets to my LinkedIn profile, so I'm happy to connect with you on there if you wish. And I'm pretty sure we have no time for questions, because I'm already into 24 minutes of the next talk, so sorry about that. Great, thank you.